All right. Welcome, everyone. Today we are making a Buddha bowl. And this is a staple for simple, easy, nutritious, like nutrient dense meals. And the reason why I like this, besides the fact that it's super simple and it's delicious, is that you can feed your whole family. So for me, my I have four girls, and I felt like I was a short order cook. Now I am not the kind of mom who would say, just this is just me in general. You eat what I put on your plate. Because I understand there's things that I don't like that just don't agree with me, and I don't want to be imposing that on my kids or anyone else. So I never forced anybody to eat things. And of course, they don't all like the same thing. They all like different things. And so this Buddha bowl is actually one of the ways that I was able to allow everyone to eat what they wanted. And I survived because what I did is make it kind of like a buffet style Buddha bowl. So I'm going to show you how to easily do that so that you can do it at home. The first thing I'm going to do is I have a sweet potato here, and I am going to cut that up and pop it into the oven. And I'm showing you the way that I guess is the most nutrient dense. So I have washed the sweet potato, and when I was growing up, we never ate the skins. But now the skins have a lot of nutrients in it, and it's okay to eat the skins. And I am just going to cut out some of the blemishes. There's not a lot of blemishes on this one here. I've already kind of done that. But I'm going to cut the blemishes. Now, if you have an aversion to this, I'm going to ask you to try it if you can to eat with the skins on. But if that's like not going to work, you can peel the skins off. And I would recommend taking a spoon, and you can take the spoon and just use that. I'll show you here. Just take the spoon and scrape to get the skin off as much as you can. That's the best way to keep as much on it as you can. If not, you can use your paring knife or your peeler and peel off the skins, but try it with the skins on. And I'm just going to cut this in and pop it in the oven. Now, the way to cook this that's going to be the most beneficial is to do it long and low in the oven. And what I do is I have a casserole dish that I use. I have the cover for it. I'm just going to cube this, and then I'll put it in the oven at 350. You don't want to use high heat. So when you're baking or roasting your vegetables, think 350 for your roasting. And let me get my, I have to wash this. So I have my casserole dish. So you can use, I have a Corningware casserole dish. I have like a pottery one for bigger things. If I'm putting more vegetables in with a cover, you can use a pot with a lid. The only thing you want to make sure is your pot doesn't have like plastic handles or something that are going to melt off. I use stainless steel pots for most of my stuff. So they're good to go in the oven. And I just cubing this here so that I can get this going. And very quickly cube this. Now you can, the beauty too is I'm going to consider this as part of my meal prep. I'm going to prep this in advance so that I have it and I can bring it out and use it later in the week. Not always have to make it fresh. And I'm just going to add a touch of water, not a lot of water, like probably a tablespoon or two. I'm going to put the lid on and put that in the oven. And I would say 45 minutes to an hour for this depending on how soft you like your sweet potatoes. Now, at the same time, I'm putting in some pepita seeds into the oven to toast them. And I am putting the timer on for this one because this is one that I'm going to put 5 minutes. And they're ready when they start being a little bit golden brown, but also when you can smell the aroma. That's when they're the best. So I've got that in the oven. So that'll be a topping that we can add to our bowl, our Buddha bowl. And I'm also getting ready to make some quinoa. So I'm using quinoa as a grain. I don't always use a grain, but I'm going to, for this bowl, use quinoa. And the quinoa I'm using is it's a black and gold one. This is a Canadian brand. It's black and gold. And what I like about it is, one, it's already been cleaned for the most part. And it's easy. It comes in a little package and you add 2 cups of water. But what I want to show you is if you can ahead of time soak your quinoa or any of your grains and your nuts and seeds, because they have enzyme inhibitor layer on them, that you want to try and wash that off, because it is actually an anti-nutrient. It detracts from our guts being able to, our body being able to absorb the nutrients that are coming in, and it could give you digestive issues. So if you can, you want to remove those. And I'm going to show you. So this was already a washed one. I have a story, if that's okay if I tell a story. I have I've got my quinoa, and it's not like it's a cup of quinoa. It's been soaking in water for about an hour or so. You can soak it for a few hours. And I'm just going to show you what the water looks like. And this is a clean one. Now, I remember buying one. Oops, don't want to do that. I want to make sure the quinoa comes out. So you want to I'll rinse this off too, if I were, that's pretty good. And I bought some quinoa at Costco one time. Not that it's an issue with Costco, but that's where I bought it. It was a Canadian quinoa, and I cooked it up. I did not know that you should soak it. So I cooked it up and put that to the side. That down. And what happened is I cooked it and it tasted so bitter. So I thought it was bad. I didn't like it. So I was going to throw it out. I didn't throw it out. Where I work, we have some pigeons that are, hang on, I'm just going to admit somebody. We have lots of pigeons in the area. So I brought some of the quinoa in and I put it down where the pigeons like to frequent. They did not touch that quinoa at all. Like, they eat everything. Like, I don't even going to tell you what I've seen pigeons eat. They didn't even touch the quinoa at all. So and you can see here, this is just after soaking for an hour, what I've taken off. So try to give yourself the time to remember to soak it. And then I've got my quinoa here. What I'm going to do, I love quinoa because it's easy to cook. It cooks fast, and it's ready very quickly. Also, you can store it in the fridge if you have extra. And so what I've done is I've got, it's a 1 part quinoa to 2 parts of liquid. So I've got 2 cups of water boiling on my stove here. I'm going to take the lid off and put the quinoa in. And the quinoa takes about 15 minutes to cook. So that's there. I'm gonna let it come to a boil. I did not salt the water or do any of that. I just left the water the way it is. Take this off to the side now, my cutting board. I don't need it anymore. And now I've got my quinoa will come to a boil. Oops, I've got my, hang on. I'm gonna check. So I did 5 minutes for my pepita seeds. I could probably do another one. Really, I have to put the timer on or I'll forget. And it doesn't take long for them to go from beautiful roasted to overdone. Right. So I'm also have some tofu here that I'm doing a bunch of things. So I have some tofu that I've marinated. And I'm just gonna, basically I took a block of extra firm tofu and I've marinated it this morning for 2 to 3 hours. I cut it into squares that are about 1/2 an inch by maybe a little bit more than an inch. Like in centimeters, it's probably 3. You can cube it like small or large. You can use it just the way it is. You can use it plain. You don't have to cook it. As a matter of fact, a lot of places that I go, the bowls are actually not, the tofu is not cooked. It's just cubed the way it is. Oh, there goes my timer again. I accidentally turned off my oven. I've got my pepita seeds. Ah, so good. They smell good. I wish you could smell through Zoom. We have to tell them to start working on a smellerator or something. Now my quinoa is come to a boil in the water, and I'm going to turn it down to so that it's got a rolling boil, like a simmering boil with the lid on. So I'm turning it down to kind of a medium low on my stove. You'll know on your own stove. And I'm going to put the timer on for 15 minutes. And at the end of the 15 minutes, pretty much it's going to be ready. So very easy to make quinoa. Now I'm going to put my tofu in to cook. So I have my fry pan and I'm heating it up here on the stove on medium. This one, you can put your tofu in the oven and bake it. And then there's no oil, just put it on a baking sheet and add some parchment paper and put it in the oven and then just kind of watch it. It takes probably half an hour and turn it over halfway through. But this one, I'm actually going to take this out of the marinade here. And I'm going to fry it with a little bit of olive oil in the pan. So I've got that going now. And this marinade is very, very simple to do. It's actually tamari sauce with diluted with some water so that, and I'll give you the recipe for everything. But it's diluted probably about 1 part of tamari to 2 parts of water because the tamari is very salty. And then I just add garlic powder and some coriander to it. And that makes a beautiful marinade. And what I will do is I have the marinade left over. I actually will put this, I'm not going to do it now because I know I'll spill it all over the place. But I'll put it in a jar and put it in the fridge. And I'll use it probably 2 to 3 times. I don't use it more than that, but there's quite a bit of liquid here. It's really when there's like tofu bits that are floating in around, then I know that it's ready to discard. But usually I'll at least get 2 marinades out of it in the fridge. So I'll put this back in the fridge because it's the first time I'm using it. Let me put this to the side. And my pan is hot now. Now, when you're using stainless steel fry pans, you want to make sure they're hot before you put your food in. If you don't, then it actually makes it, there's water in it, so it's popping around. Yeah, so if you don't, what happens is that's when things stick to the bottom of the stainless steel, is when it's not hot enough to start with. So I'm just adding in my tofu to cover the bottom. And I'm just gonna kind of braise it up on both sides. Here, make sure it doesn't stick. It's all good. We'll just take a few minutes on each side and then that'll be ready. It'll be heated and have a little bit of a crunchy texture on it. You can put it on a little bit lower heat and just kind of let it, let it brown on both sides. And that's all you need to do. Like I said, you can use it without, you can use it without marinating it. You can just cube it up and use it. You can do the marinade and then eat it with the marinade, or you can cook it up. So I'm just frying it up here. I also have chickpeas that I've got, and all I've done with the chickpeas is I have a can of chickpeas. I've rinsed and drained them here, and then I'm just gonna. There's a couple that are like discolored. They're like a darker color. I would pick those out. And then that's another option. So there's a couple of protein options there. And quinoa also, that's a grain, is a really nice protein. Then I also have some broccoli. And what I've done with the broccoli, so you can take fresh broccoli, cut it up into bite-sized pieces and steam it if you'd like. But I didn't have any fresh broccoli, and sometimes the fresh broccoli doesn't look very good. And right now it's not looking very good. And so what I've done is this, I never realized this. I am actually using frozen broccoli. And in the past, when I had frozen broccoli, I didn't want to, I would cook it and boil it up like the instructions say. And it really tasted pretty awful. I felt like it was, at least for me, it was really watery. And it really didn't have the same kind of texture and flavor that you would get from broccoli that you would do fresh. So I kind of dismissed it. But then I had an opportunity to find out that what I do is I just thaw it out. I don't actually cook it. And so it's not, that way you're not getting all that extra liquid in there. I'm just turning my tofu over here. I'm letting it brown on the other side. And but you're not getting all of that liquid into the broccoli. You can heat it up, but I don't cook it. It's already kind of still firm, but it's cooked. I've made a raw like a broccoli salad where I just took the broccoli. I run the broccoli under water, like drain it with tap water, and then I let it drain in a colander. And there's my broccoli. I didn't even have to do anything. It's ready to go. I could probably cut it into bite-sized pieces here. I also I've got my sweet potato that I made. So this is a batch I made earlier. And that's ready to go. And what I like to do is put them into containers, because I just put them out on the counter. And my kids can come and help themselves to make their own bowls. And then I can put the lids on after. And if you don't have glass containers to put them in, you can always use mason jars are great. And mason jars are an easy investment. You get a package of 12 jars for like, I think at least here in Canada, it's under $20, I think still. And I'm just going to get some more veggies. Veggies. So I cut up my veggies as part of meal prep. So they're ready to go. Um, So I forgot to take them out earlier, but that's good. So I already had these in the fridge that I have. What I do, and if you followed my prep with me class, we basically prep everything on as much as possible on Sunday afternoon. And then we've got our veggies and everything all ready to go. So I just need to bring them out. I have diced onion. I have diced purple cabbage or red cabbage here. I'm eating the rainbow. This is the important thing that you is getting a variety of vegetables. I've got this is red onion. I have this is peppers, and this is the last of my peppers for the week because everyone in my family will use them. My kids will just grab them themselves when they're making their own meals. And what would happen is, and I'm going to turn that off. Before we did meal prep like this, where we actually get everything ready ahead of time. And then like, if I run out of cabbage, I'll cut another thing up, another container up middle of the week. But then I'm just doing the cabbage. I'm not doing everything all at once. That's the beauty of it. And what would happen is the peppers have been eaten. What I used to just cut what I needed for, let's say, onion and put the rest back in the fridge. And what would happen is nobody else would use it. And by the end of the week, we were putting it in the compost for the garbage depot because nobody ate it and it went bad. So this way, I gotta say, things go because everybody in my family loves when it's already prepped. And then my other hack or time trick is I just buy matchstick carrots and then they're ready to go. It's a fiddly thing to cut them up. And I feel like if I cut them up, they go like wildfire in our house. So I just buy them this way, and then that way everybody can help themselves. I also have some leafy greens, which are really good. You should try and get leafy greens into every meal. And all I've done is I've got a spring mix that I bought, this one here. Easy to use. I just have to take a handful out of my out of the package and I'm ready to go. So those are kind of the staples, and I can line it all up here on the counter and everybody can come and get their own. Now, what are we doing for a sauce? There's so many ways that you can do sauces. I want to encourage you to make your own sauces instead of buying sauces or dressings. And the organic ones that are beautiful ingredients, like a small little thing, like smaller than this, is like $10 at the store, or at least $10. So I want to encourage you to actually make your own because it's really easy. If you prep it in advance, it takes about 15 minutes, to put it in the blender and away you go. And what I'm going to do, I'm just checking out my tofu. It's almost ready. I actually turned the heat off and I'm just letting it sit there to kind of braise a bit more. So what I'm gonna do is make a lemon vinaigrette for you here. So easy to make, and it's delicious. And you can use, I'll put out other sauces for the kids too, because they may not like my lemon vinaigrette, or they'll make their own. You could use like a mushroom gravy if you wanted, if that calls to you. If you have somebody in your family who wants to eat meat, you can take a chicken breast and broil it and cut up the chicken breast so they can have that. I'm not saying to do that or not do that, but I also understand that not everybody wants to eat plant-based. But if you're getting in all of these beautiful vegetables into your diet, then that's the main thing. It's about getting more nutrient dense foods into your diet. And that includes all of these beautiful vegetables. I also, just so you know, added for topper, I have cranberries as well. They're dried cranberries. Now, I think dried cranberries you have to watch. I use ones that are actually infused with apple juice. A lot of the cranberries that are dried have a lot of sugar in them, like refined sugar. So that's just something to watch out with cranberries, but it adds a nice little pop of sweetness to your bowl. All right, now back to the dressing. I have lemon juice here. I'm going to add some oil. So when I'm cooking, if I'm cooking with oil, I use olive oil. I've got flaxseed oil or flax oil here, which is a great source of omega-3 to use as for my dressing. So I'm going to add some of that. And you'll have a recipe, so you'll get the ingredient levels. And this is what my grandmother used to do. Is I would say, how do you make something? And she said, oh, you add a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And it's like, but how much is a little bit? I never quite found out, because she just did a little bit of everything. And this is about a tablespoon of maple syrup is really good as well. Maple syrup adds the sweetness. And if I don't add the sweetness, even though I think, well, I don't want to have sugar, but the sweetness really helps to balance out the acidic flavor from the lemon juice. And also I'm adding a little bit, about a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar here as well. Then I have garlic. I forgot my garlic on the side. Now, I've got this minced garlic I'm adding to it. So usually I'll let the marinade sit for a while, because I want the garlic to infuse into the dressing. And the garlic, mince it up ahead of time, about 10 to 15 minutes before you put it into your ingredients. The enzymes in the garlic are released when you chop it and mince it up. And so you want to give it about 10 to 15 minutes to release those enzymes, so that you have those antibacterial, antimicrobial, antioxidant properties. Garlic is like one of the superfoods that you should try and eat every day, unless you have an aversion, a food intolerance or sensitivity to it. And then I have a little bit of Dijon mustard. So I usually put a little bit more than a teaspoon of that in. And now I've got, basically that's my dressing. And you can make a big batch and store it in a mason jar. You can, there's lots of different things that you can do. But how simple of a dressing that you can make for your salad. And if you don't want to use lemon juice, you can use like balsamic vinaigrette is good. There's white wine vinegar is good too. Lots of different ways. And I'm just gonna stir it up. And that's my dressing. And my quinoa has come to a boil. It's 15 minutes is up. Now, what I will do with the quinoa is I will turn it off and let it sit on the burner for about 5 more minutes. And I just want to show you after 15 minutes, here is, I'll just get it for you. Here is the quinoa. It's all nice and fluffy and ready to go. And like I said, I would just let it sit for another 55 minutes. But I don't want to keep you guys waiting for another 5 minutes while it sits. I'll put it back on the burner and just leave the lid on. And that's how I would do the quinoa. And all that's left is to put the bowl together. All right, so hang on, let me show you my tofu. So I've just fried up the tofu and you can see it's brown on each side. Can you see that? Let me show you. It's a little hot, but here's the tofu is brown. I'm just going to put it into a container here. And then that way, when everybody is finished, if they don't eat all of this stuff, I could just put the lids on and put it back in the fridge. And there's lunch for the next day or dinner the next day. So this is about making sure you have good choices available when you are busy and you don't have time to make a big, luxurious meal. That tofu smells good, as does the quinoa. And then I have different bowls that I use. I'm just going to show you some of my bowls in my arsenal. I have this one is, most of them I just bought at the superstore or the grocery store. They have a section, and when I see these nice bowls, I usually like to pick some up. So this one is white with a really nice ceramic unfinished edge. I have these ones my daughter gave me, inspired by a restaurant we were at. This one is deeper. So the reason I like these is because you can see everything in it when you put it on. And then I have one of my favorites is this black one here. And so they just basically have a little bit of a lip and they're kind of a dinner size plate. So let me just put these on the side. Now I'm going to start with my lettuce. And you should get a good amount of lettuce in your day. So I've got a big handful of lettuce. And let me show you that. So this is a big handful. It kind of takes up about half the plate when I put it in. And I like to just kind of cut it up a little bit because some of these pieces are big and I don't want to be chewing on them and having things come out of my mouth. I want to be a little more dainty than that. Not that I'm a dainty person, but I'll do that. And then I think for this one, I'm just going to leave the bed of lettuce on the bottom for the most part. I might make a little bit of a place. I'm just going to put a little cutout here on the side for my quinoa. And really, quinoa or grains, I'd love to have a big amount, but you should probably only have a small amount. So I've got a heaping tablespoon here from this. This is a serving spoon. So it's like half a cup of quinoa that I've got here. And I'm going to add in put my rest of my stuff. And so I can pick whatever I want from here. I'm going to add in a little bit of broccoli on the side. Add in, normally I put serving spoons here, so let me use this. I'm going to add some, just put some of this chickpeas on it. Add my sweet potato. Add that there. Little piece of sweet potato. And you can see I have the rainbow here. You could add in like other kinds of vegetables as well. Got my red cabbage that I'll use here, my quinoa. And then I'm going to add in my carrots. I didn't do a good job because all my yellow stuff, orange stuff is on one side. I just add a little bit of carrots here. Put them in. I'm going to add a little bit of my cranberries on the top here and some pumpkin seeds. Just add them in, sprinkle them on. I can add in a few tofu bites here. Add them on. Guess what I'm making myself? My lunch. I'm going to add 3 tofu bites. And then all I need to do is add on my dressing. And we're ready to go. So I just put it on. And you put on as much or as little as you want because not everybody likes dressings. And I'm going to say, take as much as you need to feel satisfied. Do not skimp, think that I got to count calories. If you're eating really beautiful, nutritious foods, your body will take care of what it needs and how it should use them. And this is a big deal. We don't count calories. We don't look at, depriving ourselves. Here's a beautiful meal now. So I don't know if you can see my beautiful bowl that I've made. I want to just check my notes and I want to tell you a little bit more. If you are eating the rainbow of vegetables and fruits, then in terms of the nutrients that you're getting in, I've got my whole grain, I have some protein here, but I want to say I'm going to do a thing on protein because there's a bit of a myth about protein that we need to eat meat for protein. All plants have protein in them, not just the tofu and the quinoa and the chickpeas. Everything here has protein in it. And so let me just do a little rundown on my notes. So quinoa is an ancient grain. It was the mother grain of the Incas, and it is a complete protein. It's versatile for any bowl. It has a nutty flavor if you haven't tried it, and I've told you, a fluffy texture, and vibrant for our goes nice with our vegetables, and it's easy to make. It's so easy. We just made it here, and it takes nothing. In our vegetables, broccoli is a cruciferous vegetable that actually is packed with vitamin C, a sulforaphane, and which is sulforaphane is linked to reducing inflammation, detoxification, and also it is sulforaphane is known as an anti-cancer food as well. Carrots have that vibrant orange color that they get from the beta carotene that's in them. And this is the precursor to vitamin A. So this is going to support our vision and our immune system. Our purple cabbage has anthocyanins and vitamin C, which are antioxidants, and they help with our immune support. The sweet potatoes have potassium in them, and they are a slow burning carb. So the whole myth of we don't need to be low carb, these are carbs that are good for you. You want to use these complex carbs like the sweet potato and any kind of potato. And if you've been in any of my programs or seen any of my stuff, I recommend that you have a potato with every meal. Now, not necessarily breakfast, but at least your lunch and your dinner. Red onion has quercetin, which is anti-inflammatory compound, and our yellow peppers are full of vitamin C. And if you have one serving of pepper a day, you've actually got your full vitamin C requirements taken care of. Our chickpeas, again, are an excellent source of protein. They're also rich in fiber, which helps to keep us full. There was a study done, not sure when, but they had two groups of people that one that had chickpeas as part of their regime every day, and the other was just the control group. And the people that had the chickpeas actually lost weight, and they were looking to lose weight. That was the part of the program because of the fiber. It kept them full longer. So that was, it really makes it very satisfying. And then the pumpkin seeds add a nutty flavor to them, give it a crunch as well. And they have so many vitamins like vitamin A and E in them. And our dressing also has some amazing nutrition properties like our flax oil. And so I am ready to dig in, but before I do, I want to know if you guys have any questions. And I saw a note from Kimberly. Oh, there's a few things in the
Question too.
okay. All right. Oh, the tofu looks good. Well, I'm going to tell you, I think it's going to taste good. Oh, so I think a serving of peppers is about half a cup or so. But I will double check on that, Kimberly, just to make sure. It's about a half a cup. And yes, I can hardly wait to taste it. Gloria. All right, Diana.
Yes, I have a question. I've been on here every week, and last week I didn't get the recipe for.
Oh, yeah, I will make sure you get the recipe.
Yeah, and I want to compliment you because you're just bringing a lot of kindness to the world to take time to do this for everyone, and this looks fabulous. I can't wait to try it. So I just want to
Okay.
thank you, and I also
Thank
want to ask about the potato every meal or so. What, at least twice a day? What is that for?
So potatoes are actually the most complete nutritious food that we have. They're packed with a lot of vitamins. They've got fiber. Believe it or not, they have fat in them. And you could do sweet potatoes. You can do like russet or regular potatoes. Potatoes get a bad rap out there. They get they have a bad reputation, but they're actually very good for you. And what I'm going to do is I did send out to my Jumpstart group why potatoes are good for you. But I'll send it out as well so you can get that information. And what I'm doing is I'm really starting a community on my, where I'm going to post all the recipes and everything on the community. So Diana and everybody, I'm going to post the recipes on my feed in the community, and I'll be sending out a link to the recipes. And last week's recipe is also there. And I will add the info on the potato in there as well on the feed, so you can take a look at everything. And if you have any issues, I'm going to do it this afternoon. And if you have any issues with it, then just let me know, and I'll make sure that you get everything sorted out. The community is a brand new thing for me. I'm really excited about it, adding it here. But if it's not working, we'll fix it, or we'll find another way to do it. How's
Do
that?
you, do you know how much protein is in this meal?
I didn't actually check on exactly how much protein. Honestly, I do not count protein or any of that. I go by eating a variety of the nutrient dense foods. And but if you'd like, I can do that count for you as well if you're curious. That
Thank
sounds
you.
great. Any other questions before I dig in? And I can tell you that it really is good. Watch out. All right. So here we go. I'm trying to get a little bit of everything. So cheers to you. I have a little bit of the tofu too. All good. So the tofu has the crispy layer on top, and then it's nice and soft inside. And I just want to say before we go that you will see things to say that you should press your tofu. You can press your tofu. There's a couple ways to do it. I have bought a tofu press, a little gadget that you put the tofu in and you turn the screws on the both sides. It's like you put it inside of a couple of planks, if you will, and then you press it to squeeze it, and then the liquid comes out, more of the liquid. The other way to do it is the old-fashioned way, is to put it on a plate with a paper towel and some towels down, and then add another plate to the top and add a bunch of, like I add my pots and pans to the top. That's the easy way, and it doesn't cost you anything, and it's probably I found that easier than trying to monkey around with the tofu press. And the idea of that is that the tofu will absorb more of the marinade. But what I can say is I don't do any of that. I just go cut up the tofu. I rinse it off out of the package, pat it down, cut it up, and put it in the marinade. And it works fine for me. But if you want to try getting more of the marinade in, then you could try pressing your tofu as well. All right. And that's everything for today. I'm going to have my lunch here. It's all ready to go. I hope you enjoy this, and it's a great way to add some great nutrition to your family, and they can pick whatever it is that they want. So if they don't like sweet potato or they don't like peppers, they don't have to eat them. Thanks so much for joining. And I will be back next week. Next week, we're going to make a dessert. So be ready. Also, I want to let you know, next week, I'm doing a 5-day masterclass that you can attend. It'll be the same time at noon every day. And I'm going to make 5 different things and do that one. I'm going to do a little bit of teaching as well. So if you have time, mark your calendar to attend the masterclass. All right. Take care, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Just such a pleasure to be with you today, and enjoy your weekend.